Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Pre-Market News and Views by In the Money Stocks. Today is Tuesday, November 12th, 2013. Thank you all for tuning in. We're going to jump right into the charts here and look at the S&P 500 E-mini futures. You'll see that the futures are trading lower by about 3.5 points to 1764 per contract. So this morning, futures are getting a little bit of a bid off the lows, but nonetheless, nothing all that dramatic. But futures are lower ahead of the opening bell. Now, real quickly, last night in the overnight markets, when we take a look at Asia and look at the Japanese market, you'll see that Japan did have a pretty sizable move higher. We do want to respect that, at least in the near term. So decent little move higher yesterday in Japan. Japan finished up, or I should say the Nikkei 225 index finished higher by about 2.25 points. So a decent move last night in the Nikkei 225. You do want to respect that today. I don't know if there's a whole lot of upside, but right now that was a pretty decent move in Japan. So we do want to watch the Japanese ADRs today if the U.S. markets are strong. So keep that on the radar. Stocks like Toyota Motor, Honda Motor Corp, Sony possibly, and several others. Anything in Japan, Japanese related, could get a little bit of a boost if the U.S. markets are strong. If the U.S. markets are weak, you could just X that out. That won't happen. Also, last night, you did have a little bit of a move in the Shanghai, which is mainland China. That was up about 0.8%. So decent move there. Nothing to sneeze at, but a little bit of a move higher there, but I don't think it's a big market mover or a game changer. India and the Bombay Sensex Index was down about 1%. So Indian ADRs could be a little bit weaker today, especially if the U.S. markets are weak. So we'll see how that all plays out going forward. Looking at the European markets this morning, we do have European markets lower across the board. They're all down about 0.2 or about 1/4%. Spain is leading the charge lower. That is down about 0.9%. The London FTSE, remember England can print their own money. They're separate. They're down about 0.3%. So ahead of the opening bell, you see weakness really in Europe, and we see it translated here in the United States today. So we'll have to keep an eye on that going forward. But either way, there are a lot of stocks out here that are making moves. There are a lot of stocks out here that are in the news. One I'm going to have to show you right off the bat. SRPT. This is Sarepta Therapeutics. It looks like one of their drugs is not panning out according to the FDA, and stock is just getting slaughtered. Yesterday the stock closed at around $36.56. Today you wake up, that stock is a $17 equity. Just a bloodbath across the board, and that's always the risk that you take playing with biotechs. I will have a gap level for this stock. So come on over if you want to give it a try. That will be posted up in the chat room at around 9 a.m., which is basically another 15 minutes from now. So again, this stock is getting absolutely demolished. It has been a stock that has fallen off a cliff. Realistically, it did start to begin to sell off going back to early October or mid-October, and when it was trading around $55 a share. But today, trading at $17.30 this morning, and I believe it's going to go a little bit lower first. Let's take a look at another stock in the news today is Rackspace Hosting. This is one of the premier cloud hosting sites out there. The stock is getting rattled a little bit today, closed at $49.31. It is now trading at $44.91. I will have levels for this stock as well. They'll be posted up in the chat room, trading room, around 9 a.m. So if you want those, come on over to that. And but this one is getting hit pretty sharply this morning. That's a decent move down for Rackspace, which has been doing pretty well as of late, but pretty good fall. And again, I think this is an earnings play. But again, check out the news. I'm not really sure. I look over so many different stocks. I do forget some of the news sometimes, which we're technical traders, so we only care about the levels, best levels for entries, best levels to short, best levels to buy. Let's take a look here at D.R. Horton. D.R. Horton had earnings bullet before the opening bell. Stock is getting a pop. Has a little bit of upside potential. I don't know how high it's going to go or how far. So traders want to be a little bit careful with this one. But nonetheless, this could cause some activity in the other home builders, at least at the start of the day. So home builders could be in play for the first 2 hours of the trading session. just based on the DR Horton news. Another stock that reported earnings, I believe, last night was News Corp. And you'll see this one really was all over the map. It went from 17 down to 16, and now it's back up at 17. So, again, I'd be careful with this one. If this stock cannot catch a bid, it can trade right back down to around that 16.20 level. That's where there is a lot of support on News Corp, so keep that on watch. I believe Sotheby's also reported earnings. Right now, the stock, I believe, is trading at around $50, but there's no volume to really go off of, so we're not going to do too much there. We're going to leave that one alone. Dish Networks is another stock in the news this morning. Stock got an initial pop. Now it's come back in and retreated a little bit. If this stock sells off today, traders should keep on their radar 46.50. Looks like a very, very good level for a bounce or at least near-term support. So keep that on the radar if it does go down a little bit more. I know it's at 49, but after earnings, these things can be vicious on the upside as well as the downside. So if this starts to sell off, watch 46.50. I don't know if it gets there, but if it does, that will be a very, very good support level going forward. There are 3 separate Federal Reserve members giving speeches today. So the Fed will be out on the stomping ground. I believe they begin their speeches early this morning, and it ends around 7 o'clock tonight with Dallas Fed President Richard Fisher. But we do have 3 Fed presidents speaking today, so again, they'll be on the stomping ground trying to keep the markets from panic or keeping them buoyant. That's what they do. But there are 3 Fed presidents speaking throughout the entire day. I believe this morning, then I believe this afternoon, and then I believe at 7 p.m. tonight. So you got a lot of Fed speak going on. Let's take a look at oil this morning. What you're going to see here is light sweet crude. That's what we trade here or what we use here in the United States. Is flat on the session to 95.05. It was down a little bit earlier, has come off the lows a little bit. Let's take a look at the all-important USO, which is a good proxy for light sweet crude. And you'll see crude here is trading at around $34.25. So small little uptick, but nothing dramatic. Crude is flat on the spot price. Let's look at gold this morning. Gold has been really hammered left and right. Today it's only down $1 to around $12.80 an ounce. Let's take a look at the all-important GLD, and we'll see what that tells us. Right now, the GLD is trading at around 123.60. It closed at 123.87, so it is down just a hair, but I don't know if we can make too much out of it. Still a pretty good area of support on the chart right around this 123.60 level, so we'll see if that level can hold up. I would not rule out a little pop in gold today, but we'll see. Again, it's not giving us any great indications ahead of the opening bell this morning. So I'm going to leave it here, short and sweet. Again, markets right now are down about 4.25 points. So futures are losing a little bit of ground here. So down about 4.25 points, and we'll see where they wind up by the end of the day. Either way you slice it or dice it, there's going to be a lot of activity, a lot of movement in the morning, and that's what traders need to take advantage of because the volume trends have been very, very light lately. With that said, everybody have a great trading day, and we'll see you on the charts.